The word wife and woman in the Old and the New Testament are kind of synonymous. If there wasn't very many wives that were women, or women that did not become wives. If you were a woman, you got married and you had kids, so the term was pretty much synonymous. You could become a widow, which was different than a wife, but really there is just virgin, then wife, woman, and then widow. Now the Greek word is gyne for the wife, woman. And Isa, I know you biblical and Greek scholars are going to kill me for mispronouncing this stuff, but Isa is the adult woman or wife in the Hebrew. That is, the gyne is 1135 in the Strongs, and in the 802 in the Hebrew is the Isa. Virgin, however, is 3933 in the Greek, and that's Parthenos. Basically, a woman never engaged in sexual relations. And in 1330 in the Hebrew, Bethula, unmarried woman under her father's authority. Basically, it's the same thing. It's just a different focus. The Greeks were more focused on sex. The Hebrews were more focused on authority. So we all know that in Exodus it talks about how a man can have more than one wife. If he gives a woman, raiment, if he gives her food, if he meets her sexual needs, he can basically have as many wives as he wants to. And there's nothing in the Bible that contradicts that. In fact, there's many examples of men doing that, and it's not really looked down upon or anything like that. So there's a concept, though, in our modern society that there is men can cheat, and we have to be very careful about this, because in the Old Testament the cheating concept is if a man covet his neighbor's wife. Now, we can't add to scripture, so coveting your neighbor's wife. So basically, if you covet an adult woman, she's going to be married to somebody else unless she's a widow. If you covet your neighbor's wife, that means that she is married to somebody else, and therefore you are not able to take her as a wife, for you cannot covet her. If you covet a woman and then you take her as a wife, that's not sin. You've taken the thing that you covet and made it yours, and now are responsible for it. That's not a sin. What is the sin? What is the commandment? As it says, you're not supposed to covet your neighbor's wife. That means if they are your neighbor, you don't even think about having sex with their wife. Coupled together with what the New Testament says, it says, if a man look upon a woman with lust in his heart, he hath committed adultery already. Now, with our modern mindset, a woman is a girl, any woman. It's a little girl to adult woman, whatever, that's woman. And honestly, according to Scripture, a woman is a wife, according to what the Scripture is saying. If a man look upon another man's wife with lust in his heart, he hath committed adultery already. So this concept of cheating is basically a man cannot think about sleeping with a married woman. That is cheating. It's not even just doing the action. You can't commit adultery. You can't think about committing adultery. Both scriptures talk about thinking about it. One is coveting and doing it in your heart. Coveting and doing it in your heart. Those are basically both thinking about sleeping with another man's wife. So now there is an exception to this rule. It says that a man can marry a virgin, which is good. A man can also marry a widow, because a woman is bound to her husband as long as he liveth. So if the man dies and then she's set free from that, then she is able to be remarried to another man. It's fine. But because Christians now have become a new concept in the Hebrew tradition, there's a lot of conversions, or a lot of people that have converted. So they've lived a very ungodly lifestyle and now are trying to live a more godly lifestyle. So there had to be an allowance for the converted, the old lifestyle to the converted lifestyle. So what Paul wrote was, he said that if an unbelieving wife is sanctified by the believing husband, and the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the believing wife. And if the unbelieving husband is willing to stay with the believing wife, then she should stay with him, and likewise with the believing wife with the unbelieving husband. But if an unbelieving husband put away his believing wife, she is set free from him and is no longer bound to him by the law. But we also know that if a man cannot divorce his wife unless she commits fornication. So that means like a godly man cannot divorce his wife unless she sleeps with another man besides him. So these concepts I wanted to bring to the forefront, that a man can marry a virgin, a man can marry a widow, a man can marry a woman that has been put away, as long as she's been put away by an unbeliever, and she herself had not sought to be put away. Like, she cannot have looked for divorce. She had to have tried to stay married to the best of her ability. The reason I bring this up is because it was a long time coming, and I was really concerned about a couple of believers in my fellowship, because I knew about virgins, I knew about widows, but there was a lot of people that had been converting, and they just didn't have any options. They were basically married to the last guy they slept with, even if he was a jerk. I was like, this is not right. And then I found the scripture where Paul was talking about it, and it finally made sense. I was like, oh, that's why. And it really frees you up. So women, I just want you to know, if you're sleeping with an unbeliever, stick with him, stay with him, be with him until he either dies or he leaves you, and do everything you can to stay with him. But if he dies or he leaves you, then you are set free from bondage. You are no longer bound to him. But remember, the next man you do sleep with, you are basically bound to that man. Treat it as if you are a widow. Your husband has died. He left you, but he's an unbeliever. So if he leaves you, then you can now are set free from him and find another man that is willing to treat you in a more godly manner. Just make sure that you never, of your own free will, divorce and don't sleep around or whatever. So I guess these are the concepts. I wanted to talk about divorce. I wanted to talk about marriage. I wanted to talk about who can be married, and the concepts of cheating and what adultery actually is. I think I've covered all these grounds. Anyway, I just thought I'd share all that with you, and I hope it blesses you all. Take it easy. This is the Heretic signing out. Peace.